and sing, please welcome Nadine P. Simmons.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the great? That was the national anthem. I shall now sing, lift every voice and sing. We have been through a nation of living separate but unequal for many years, but we never gave up hope. And there was an author who wrote this song, Lift Every Voice and Sing, sung by James Weldon Johnson, who felt these words as he put his pen to paper, that shall live on through eternity. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound like roaring sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory has won. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the night, keep us forever in the path we pray. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, sing a song full of the path that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory has won. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory has won. Thank you.
Please welcome Chief Advisor to the Mayor, Chaplain Dr. Ingrid Lewis Martin.
Good evening. Come on, I need a little more love than that. Good evening. It's so good to see so many familiar faces. I don't want to start naming names because I'll get in trouble, but I got to say a couple of names. Always our sponsor, George Hulse. Come on now. Dr. Charles, we see you. Reverend Williams, we see you. Brooklyn, are you in the house? The Bronx, are you in the house? Manhattan, are you in the house? Queens, are you in the house? I'm going to go on a limb here, but Staten Island, are you in the house? Okay, so we got all 5 boroughs covered, right? Because our mayor is a mayor who is a mayor for all people. And during the most turbulent times, this is our first celebration for Juneteenth. In less than 6 months, our mayor did what people said was impossible. He was able to get Juneteenth a federal holiday. So, it is my pleasure and my honor to present to you. I'm presenting him because everybody in this room knows our mayor, our 110th mayor of the city of New York, Eric Adams.
Before I do my thing, I want to just bring on our electeds that are here because they're real partners in government. And as we get things done, it is with their partnership that we're able to accomplish that. I want to first start with my sister, Assemblywoman Jennifer Rajkumar. Come on, say a few words.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody. I'm Assemblywoman Jennifer Rajkumar, and I'm so happy to be here celebrating Juneteenth. And this is a celebration of freedom and equality. And I'll be celebrating once again, the 55% of black women that die of maternal mortality every year. When we solve that crisis, I'm going to be celebrating again. And right now, 51% of black youth at the 8th grade level are considered language proficient. And when we change that number, I'm going to be celebrating again. And the reason I'm here today is because we have one of the greatest leaders in this entire country, our great mayor, Eric Adams. And he's the one that is changing those numbers. I was so proud to stand with him as the first Queens elected to ever endorse him. And I'm so proud of the work that he's done changing our city in these first few months. The future is bright. and as the first South Asian woman ever elected in New York State, I have been so proud to see how he supports freedom and equality in all communities. He is the mayor for every New Yorker. So to everyone, happy Juneteenth, and let's celebrate all month. Thank you so much.
And the amazing Assemblywoman from Bed-Stuy, the 56th Assembly District, Assemblywoman Stephanie Zinnerman.
It's already been established that Brooklyn is in the house. Where is our mayor from? Brooklyn. I am Assemblymember Stephanie Zinnerman, and I proudly represent Bedford-Stuyvesant and Crown Heights. Happy Juneteenth. I'm going to greet you with peace and freedom, and we're going to talk a little bit about liberation. So yes, today we are going to celebrate Juneteenth and the freedom of the last slaves in Texas, in Galveston, Texas. But we're really going to talk about what freedom really means to each and every one of us now. So many of us know that we are still fighting for the free right to vote. So many of us know that we are still fighting for the freedom to have quality health care. So many of you know that we are still fighting for affordable and quality housing. And we are still fighting to pass the Amistad Act so we can actually teach Black history 365 days of the year. So while we celebrate Freedom Day, Jubilee Day, Liberation Day, we also have to face the work ahead. And those of us in the state that are here today and those who could not make it are glad to have a partner with the state or somebody who's been doing the work and is still pushing for our liberation. And so I want to close by just putting my hand on this flag. So we know Juneteenth has its own flag. But as of June 19th, 2022, for the first time in history, the red, black, and green will fly on every state building from Brooklyn to Buffalo. So I want to thank the mayor for his support, but I also want to give it up for the Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian caucus who did the work to help me get that resolution passed. And I want to thank the governor and the lieutenant governor for their support. So if you're around on Monday, come on down to Shirley Chisholm State Office Building, because we're going to be waving the flag and talking about liberation.
And our Lieutenant Governor Anthony Delgado.
Thank you, Mayor. How's it going? We good? Good, good. Happy Juneteenth. Let me tell you, when I think about the story of Juneteenth and I think about what it's come to represent, it's a story of how time and commitment and hope and love can conquer all. Imagine the slaves in Texas learning for the first time they were free, and how it was a delayed message, and how it had to come to them at a later time than those before them. Had somebody tell me earlier today, how do you stay hopeful? How do you, with all the divisiveness, all the hate that's going on, all the violence, where do you go? Where do you dig deep to figure out what the future can look like? How do you stay upbeat? I say, I look at the past. I look at like what we overcame. Literally, the lynching, the cotton fields, being dehumanized, couldn't read, denied access to water fountains and bathrooms and schools. So when you think about where we are today and what we're dealing with today, don't despair. Think about where we came from. Think about what it took to get us here. The love, the faith, the power of faith, and the power of love. No one is born to hate anybody. Nobody says, I'm born hating race or religion. Love is as natural as air. You're born to love. Hold on to that love. Don't run from it. There's a reason why I'm the first person of color to represent upstate New York in the 90% white district that Trump won. Because I love, and I love hard with a strong, demanding love. I love you. And Mayor Adams, I love you, brother. I love you. And I love all of you. And together in love, all things are possible. All things.
And lastly, my sister, who just is a fearless warrior. She's now the Cultural Affairs Commissioner in the city of New York, Lori Cumbo.
I love you too. Wow. We've come a long way. I remember when Eric first called me and told me that he was running and would I be at his first endorsement announcement that he was running for the mayor of the city of New York. I was so honored that you called me. I was so honored that you asked me to take this monumental, historical journey with you. And it was an honor to stand there with you in the highs and the lows of this campaign, because there were highs and there were lows. There were tough times. There were people that did not want to see you have this position and did everything in their power to try and stop what God had ordained. But they could not stop it. I want you to think about for a minute where we are. I want you to think for a minute what it took to get to this moment. African people who wanted to lead, who wanted to legislate, but were forced to wash dishes. Black women who wanted to stand up and wanted to be educators, wanted to be all of the things that they could be, doctors and nurses, but they were forced to clean. They were forced to wash tables and floors. And not that there's any less of dignity in that work, but when that's the only option that you have because of the color of your skin. We understand now this position and this moment. A lot of people, our people, were denied the right to do so many things. Black hands that built Gracie Mansion. Black hands that made New York City what it is today. Black hands that were denied an opportunity. And now we have 110th mayor in Eric Adams, who represents the dreams of so many black people who were denied an opportunity to be. We were at a dinner one night, and a woman said, and I remember this, she said, when you're on a plane, always vote for and support the pilot. Make sure when you're on a plane that you are rooting for the pilot. We are on this journey. This is the pilot. We have to root for him. We have to work for him. We have to protect him. We have to move his agenda forward. We have to make sure that he succeeds because our children are counting on his success. So we have to make sure we do that. This man that comes from Brownsville, that comes from Queens, okay? This man just presided over the largest budget in New York City's history, $101 billion. He was able to decide that those resources would go back into the communities that need it most. And I just want to say, as commissioner for the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, he just passed the largest cultural budget in New York City's history. You're going to see
Organizations of all colors, but mostly in the outer boroughs, are now going to be lifted up for the first time in ways that they never were before. So I thank you. It's been an honor to take this journey with you. And I'll just close by saying, you ain't seen nothing yet. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Adam!
And if I may, I know he's in the house, Reverend Herbert Daughtry. Where's Reverend Herbert Daughtry, who started me on this journey so many years ago when I was the youth leader for the National Black United Front. My spiritual father and fellow plant-based eater, you know. Say a few words, Rev.
I really don't know if I can say a few words. It's just overwhelming to be here this evening. You know, last night, yesterday evening, we remembered Arthur Miller. He was killed in June 14, 1978. I was on the street boycotting because Randy Evans, 15 years old, had been killed. I only mention these two incidents because out of it came a movement which eventuated in many of you here this evening. But the person that we honor tonight, and which every time I see him, I kind of get emotional because it was in that movement, in that time, that he came to us. So you got to remember out of which he came, the movement that gave birth to his, what is it? Ascension. Thank you. Thank you very much. But he came and I said a few words to him as I gathered the young fellows around me. And I said, listen, we need to have somebody in that police department. Somebody who would show the world what policing is all about, how you police. And anyway, we need somebody to tell us what's going on in that department that they kill children. And so he said, you got to be out of your mind. The police were not the most lovable people at that time. And so out of that movement, he came, and we have been together ever since. The other evening, he was at the church, in the House of the Lord Church, which gave birth and influenced so many. And we were looking at the photos that we had been together, and there was the photo of his being present when the kid in the carriage was killed. He was there. And we looked at a photo in which we were holding a press conference because Dorisman had been killed. And if we had gone on, we'd have looked at photos in which he was there when Christians in Ethiopia was being killed. And he was there on many of the occasions when there was an attack on certain people, and he was there. And so I just love him, and every time I see him, I say, well, thank God, thank God, thank God for this man. And we're going to care with him, and we're going to keep on praying, we're going to keep on pushing, and who knows what's in the future. One final thing I have to say, I have to show you the toughness. I was getting ready, that was a long time ago, to march from Brooklyn to Washington. And I had gathered people around me. It was the Million Man March. And I gathered people around me. And I called Eric and I said, man, come on and march with me. He said, all right. Who you got in the march? And I said, we got so-and-so. And I don't like this guy here. Keep him out of the march. And Eric said, what? You don't like him? Well, you don't like me. And he wouldn't march with me. He stepped away. Well, I always admired that. He had a toughness about him, a sort of independent toughness, and anybody around him know what I mean. So, Eric, God bless you. You know, you always in our prayers. You're always there. And I'm still, if you need me.
Still fiery. You know, I have been, you may not be able to see, but you notice I've been looking over my shoulders because on the right-hand side, on the top of the curtain, there was a bird that landed in the beginning. That bird is still here, you know, and sometimes we don't understand the symbols that are for us and this journey. And it was extremely instructional to have Reverend Daughtry give the history because there's a lot of youthful, energetic energy that is around right now. And somehow we have incorporated this belief that not to understand how we got here. I'll never forget Reverend Daughtry, G.T. Wayusi, Sam Penn, and some other leaders. There was a meeting that we had at one of the churches, and I'm not sure if it was Randolph Evans or one of the issues around policing. It could have been even back when Clifford Glover, the 10-year-old young child that was shot in South Jamaica, Queens, or Arthur Miller. Matter of fact, I believe it was Arthur Miller. And we were all inside a meeting. And a group of young people there, I think I was 18 years old, and a group of young people were in the room, and the elders were trying to tell us how to move forward. And a group of the young people were there, said, get out of the way, you're too old, you don't understand the movement, you don't know what you're doing. And I remember rolling up a piece of paper into a form of a baton. And I walked to the front of the room, and I dropped to one knee, and I handed the baton to those elders. And I said to the young people who were in this room that we have to run our mile. Nat Turner ran his mile so he could hand it off to Sojourner Truth. She ran her mile so she could hand it off to Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey ran his mile so he could hand it off to Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks ran her mile so she could hand it off to Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson ran his mile and he handed it off to Reverend Sharpton. Sharpton ran his mile, he handed it off to Barack Obama. Barack Obama ran his mile, handed off to the Vice President Harris. Vice President Harris is running her mile and she's handed it off to Eric to be the mayor of the city of New York. It's the continuation of the mile. And if you become so arrogant and so pompous in your state of existence, believing this is a 50-yard dash, and just because you are new to this, that you all of a sudden understand the learning experience of every mile. No, slow down. Understand who have already run the mile. Learn from them. Build on what they've done. Don't start from scratch again. What is the purpose of running these miles? Just for you to come and partner with those who don't look like you and give you an agenda that you're going to start following. Stop the silliness. Like it or not, I'm the pilot. If the plane crashes, we all crash. We all crash. So if you're sitting in first class or row 79D, I got to land this plane. I got to land this plane. And so we need to stop all the madness. Don't look at what you disagree with. Look at what you agree with. Look at the fact that I'm the only mayor in history that has done and put in place dyslexia screening for all of our children, so 30% of our prisoners are not going to be dyslexic. Only mayor in history that is doing dyslexia screening in our jails, so when our young people come home, they're coming home to opportunities, not to be part of the revolving door system. Only mayor in history that is putting billions into child care so our mothers can have adequate child care for their children. Only mayor in history with 100,000 summer youth jobs and pushing for a 100% paying internship program. Only mayor in history that is accomplishing feat after feat after feat. Folks are wondering why they didn't want me to get here. They knew who I was. Never kept it a secret. Never stood back and said, once I become mayor, I'm going to become a different person. You don't dedicate your life on fighting on behalf of liberation and then all of a sudden turn down and act like you want to be on a plantation. That's not who I am. It's not who I am. And I don't get caught up in all the noise, all the distractions, all the people pulling you off your game. You can say what you want, you can write what you want, you can do what you want, but I'm the mayor. Dyslexic, arrested, rejected, now I'm elected. So what does that say? That says to the third grade child that is told he can't read or write and he'll never be anything because he's dyslexic or he has a learning disability or ADD, that says to him that look what he is. That says to the young person who I spoke with the other day when I was on Rikers Island talking to those graduates who got their degrees and want to do something with their lives, where you are is not who you are. That jail cell is not who you are. Who you are is when you come out and motivate yourself. And so what we're going to do, we're going to put the resources in place so that they're able to believe in themselves. My election is a symbol. It's not me. It's not Eric Adams becoming mayor. It is a symbol of the possibilities in this city. We are going to unleash the possibilities. And trust me when I tell you, as Archbishop Desmond Tutu once stated, we spend a lifetime pulling people out of the river. No one goes upstream and prevent them from falling in the first place. Now ask yourself why. Who are we pulling out of the river downstream? Black and brown people. And so the mindset is people are making paper off of pulling us out of the river. So what I'm doing, I'm not threatening the people who are being pulled out of the river. I'm threatening the profits that people make from pulling us out of the river. See, because if you invest in foster care children upstream, then they don't fall in the river and you pull them out downstream for mental health illnesses and other crises. If you invest in dyslexia screening upstream, you're not pulling them out downstream because they're arrested. If you invest in healthcare upstream, then you're not allowing our mothers to have surgery, removing body parts, losing their sight. If you invest in maternal health upstream, then you won't have black women dying 12 times the rates of white women for maternal morbidity. If you take this game upstream, then you're not going to be wasting money downstream, and you're taking money out of the pockets of people who have been eating off of us because of the dysfunctionality of a downstream mindset. This is about the prophetizing of poverty. And why do you go anywhere in this country, Chicago, Los Angeles, Washington, St. Louis, no matter where you go, why is it the same people experiencing the same thing? So that's all the attacks, folks. All those attacks you see is I'm messing with people paper. And so everybody's not going to be with us. Some people that even look like us is going to attack us. And you just got to say for me, from the bottom of my heart, you got to say, Negro, if you're not with Eric, you need to get out of the way. Just get out of the way. Get out of the way. This is our moment. This is our moment. And we don't have to leave people behind. We don't have to be in a state where if you're Jewish, you're attacked with anti-Semitism. We don't have to be in a city where if you're from the AAPI community and your mother or father or grandfather cannot leave homes because people are attacking you, no reason at all. We don't have to be in a city if you're a member of the LGBTQ plus community, people are assaulting you and attacking you just because of who you choose to be. We have to be in a city where African Americans cannot move up in titles and rank just because of their ethnicity. So other groups are treated unfairly. We don't have to live in a city like that. And we don't have to be against folks to be for something. That's all we have to do. We are in this together. We're in the same plane together, using the metaphor from my sister, Lori Cumbo. We're in the same plane together. COVID showed us. If the plane crashed, we're all going down. Don't be that crazy passenger that want to destroy the pilot without realizing he's on it also. You cannot destroy me without destroying yourself. That's what this moment is about. Don't be so angry that you are going to become so destructive to destroy what we are trying to accomplish. And we are moving in the right direction. We are winning. We are winning. 100,000 new jobs in the first quarter. Hotels are returning with their occupancy to hire HTC union workers. Tourism is coming back to the city. Just the other day, we had 350-something thousand people in Times Square. People are getting back into the offices. People are getting back on our subway system. The energy is returning to the city. We are winning. Don't allow the naysayers to let you believe because you have a successful black mayor that's doing the right thing. We took our bond raising from stable to optimistic because we're making the right decisions with our budget. Your tax dollars. We're winning, New York. And we're going to become the symbol for this entire country on how to do it right and how to get it right without leaving anyone behind. And I see many of your faces. You've been here from the start. Never gave up. Always stated that, Eric, we're with you. I don't know how many years I've known Dr. Charles. All these years, side by side, George Holt. So many of you said that we believe in the mission. We believe in accomplishing the task. This is a difficult task. You know what? I'm not always going to get it right. I tell people from the start, I'm perfectly imperfect. Perfectly imperfect. But I'm dedicated. And the years of dedication, you can all go back and see. I have publicly lived a life of improving the lives of New Yorkers. Publicly. And this is the moment when all of it comes together. All of our prayers, all of our hopes, all of our dreams. You know, last year before taking office, I took the trip to Ghana and went into the dungeons. And I saw those spaces where our ancestors spent months living in their own ways, not seeing sunlight, Many of them died on this voyage over here, only to come here and live a more horrific journey than what they did on the travel. And got here and continue to fortify their beliefs, continue to fight forward so that we can get here. And so today, on Juneteenth celebration, they're sitting here right now in the spirit of that bird. And they want us to know they're proud of us. We could have been broken. We could have been torn apart. We could have just threw up our hands and we could have given up. But instead, we kept moving forward. We are here because they were there. And yes, it took 2.5 years from the time of slavery, the Emancipation, a proclamation being signed, to Galveston finally getting the word and free. But in all sincerity and honesty, we still aren't free. Physically off the plantation does not mean you are free. Let's free ourselves from the things that are binding us to the past. This is our moment, the year that this mayor made Juneteenth a citywide holiday. This year that this mayor is going to continue to knock down those barriers that prevented us before. Now it's our time to use this opportunity. Think about it for a moment. We have a person of color that's mayor. We have an attorney general that's of color. We have a public advocate that's of color. We have the leader of the assembly that's of color. We have the leader of the Senate that's of color. We have one of the most powerful men in Washington, D.C. that's heading the Democratic Conference that's of color. We have all of this chocolate. If we do nothing with it but fight against each other, then what did we do? This is what we prayed for. This is what we asked for. We are now at a place of power. The power we marched for, we protest for, we fought for, now we're here. Now the question becomes, what are we going to do with it? I want to work together to get stuff done. We need to come together to get stuff done. This Juneteenth, let's rededicate ourselves to the upliftment of all that we fought for. And I cannot thank you enough for believing, never surrendering, and allowing me to run my mile so I can pass the baton off to the next person in the relay. God bless you. Thank you.